so I forget who said it to me, but someone said to me one time, the private equity funds and the acquirers often forget that the guy sitting on the other side of the table is not a full-time M&A professional. They're a
Correct.
CEO, they're an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
So they take that for granted sometimes, and there's some frustrations from buyers to sellers, the way sellers run a process. But then you step back and go, these guys have never done it before. You don't go to school and learn how to sell your company. It's
Sure.
impossible. So as a seller, realizing that there's a ton of competition out there and you can get crossed off a list very quickly
Hmm.
for just not having your stuff together,
There you go.
so to speak. So I don't think you can ever start too early preparing yourself for a sale. And that doesn't mean building a data room and having audited financials and all that. It just means having your stuff together. So when a buyer says, hey, well, what did the 2018 revenue look like? You don't have to get back to him in 6 months because you need to go out back and audit your books and figure things out and move money around and do all that. Just having your stuff together in a sense of, hey, here's the summary of where the company was 3 years ago and where it is today. Typically, a buyer is going to ask for your last 3 years financials. Have that
Yes.
stuff ready to go. Have a cap table available. Having to write an essay about all the equity you gave out 9 years ago, just have a simple cap table ready. Understand the pecking order of your employees and which ones are going to be vital through the sale. Do I
Yep.
need to keep all these people? So just starting to do some housekeeping items, which are things you can do before you engage an investment bank. You can do them on your own, or
Hmm.
you go out and you start talking to an investment banker and say, hey, what do you think I should do here? Should I start putting these together? It's also a good way to interview, so to speak, some investment bankers. That's why I think what you do is so valuable, because most people make one investment banking call and then
Yeah.
they sign up with that group because a friend of them told them, and you're really finding the best solution instead
Yeah.
of the only solution.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I think one of our investment bankers, right, we have them all over the world that are very specific to an industry. And one of them said to me last month, they said, finally, somebody is telling the world that investment banking is not a local service, it's an
Right.
industry expertise.